Welcome to the Bill Cartwright Show. Our special guest today, USF alum, Kevin Leong. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's nice to be here, Bill. Actually, it's nice to be anywhere.
Well, you're looking good. And Kevin, in this short period of time, I really want to get to know you really well. So let's start with this. Let's talk about where you grew up.
Well, I am a fifth generation San Franciscan. I was born at Children's Hospital, just a few blocks away from USF. My dad's side of the family is from San Francisco, and my mom's side of the family is from Oakland. When we were 5, our immediate family moved to the East Bay for health reasons, and I've pretty much grew up in the East Bay. So I always thought I'd be going to UC Berkeley when the time came to go to college. But there was too much stuff going on, distractions, riots, demonstrations, that type of thing in the late 60s, or all around the 60s. And so I decided I'll go to USF. It's quieter and less distractions.
Since you mentioned your mom and dad, talk about your mom and dad and what did your dad do for a living?
If you're familiar with Chinatown, North Beach, and the financial district, there's a large 500-car garage there called Portsmouth Square. Portsmouth Square is also the landmark of where Yerba Buena Village began. And before San Francisco came about, it was Yerba Buena Village, and it was on the grounds of Portsmouth Square. And that was like a block from the bay. The water line was a block from the bay. So we're talking Montgomery Street and Sansom. That was the water line. So my dad was the original manager there at the garage, and it serviced all those areas: Chinatown, North Beach, financial district, and it's still there. And of course, it's very busy.
So what did your mom do?
Mom was a homemaker and took care of my sister and me until we got into college. And so anyway, they're both gone now, unfortunately, but both natives of the area.
Awesome. So let's talk about where you went to high school and what kind of kid were you in high school?
So we grew up in El Cerrito, just north of Berkeley. And when it was time to go to high school, the baby boomers such as me took over all the high schools, and we had to open up a hybrid, change a junior high school called Harry L's into a high school. So they took half the El Cerrito kids and half the Richmond kids and put them into the hybrid high school called Harry L's. And there's a few infamous athletes from that area, Bob Gaylord being one. He was just ahead of me. And I didn't play basketball, but I played football. And I was actually made all league as a middle linebacker.
Oh, wow. So you were a sports kid.
Oh yeah, I was, until the sun went down. I was out playing baseball, basketball, football, whatever the season was, I was playing it.
Now, as you leave high school, you of course went to USF. So why did you make that decision?
Well, I was looking for some place that was had a good reputation, and it was quiet. It wasn't like San Francisco State, which had lots, daily riots, and Berkeley had daily riots. I just didn't want to be distracted. And even though I wasn't a great student, but I needed the peace and quiet. So also USF had a football team back then. So I was able to play football at USF before they gave it up.
Can you talk about some of the guys who are on that team?
Let's see, maybe Mike Donahoe, who went into the pros, played 8 years as a tight end. Phil Wanlin, who played not only the quarterback for us, but was also a baseball player for Dante Benedetti. It was really interesting because we had players from all over. We had players that just came out of the Vietnam War playing with us. And so we had some elder leadership. And we also had, freshmen and sophomores like myself who joined the team. And we learned a lot from each other and had a good time.
How big was the school then? And what year was that?
So we're talking 66, 67, and it was a little over 2,000 students. Of course, we have 10,000 students now. So the school has really grown. And since then, we took over Lone Mountain. We took over Presentation High School. We took over St. Ignatius Prep across the street, which is now Corette in Negoesco Field. So the school has grown geographically and grown in its student body.
When you were a student at USF, talked about what you really learned while you were there as a student.
Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And like most young people, we just haven't been exposed enough to know what's available out there for us. So I thought I'd take up business. So I got into the business school and figured that would be a good background to have no matter what I wanted to do or whatever. So that's what I graduated in the business school.
And can you remember some of your professors at the school? And who was the president?
It was Father Johnson back then. And he's no longer with us, but it was Father Albert Johnson. And Father Lo Schiavo was there, Dean of Men. We had, let's see, as far as professors went, we had Samini for accounting. We had Eamon Barrett, a Jesuit for marketing. And there were very few women. The women only came on campus in 1964 as co-eds. Prior to that, the only women on campus were the nurses that came over from St. Mary's. So in 64, they opened it up to the co-eds, and in 68 was the first graduating class with women in it at USF. So things have changed because now we're about 64% women. So in the old days, it was all men. Now it's 2/3 women. How about that?
Now, was that pretty welcoming to have women on campus?
Well, it was interesting because to get the men ready for the women, they made us wear collared shirts to the dining room. We couldn't wear jeans. And we had to be on our best behavior, of course. And so we learned how to navigate a college campus with women roaming around.
Interesting. So as you leave USF, what are you thinking? Do you know what you want to do for a living?
I've been doing it. I've been having fun. I've been having fun. I've never worked a day at USF. Every time I step foot on the campus, I'm having fun. I'm seeing people that I know. I'm seeing friends. I'm meeting new people. I'm helping the mission of the university advance. So it's never been work for me. It's always been a good time and gratifying knowing that I'm doing something that's advancing the university because I believe in its mission. And anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
So talk about your first job and how did you get it?
Well, I went, see, this is strange because I had money left over when I graduated. And I was able to save money, pay all my tuition. And then I had over $1,000 left in my bank account when I graduated. So I'm going to Europe. So I bought a Eurail pass for 2 months, and I bought a round trip airline ticket to Europe. And I met a friend of mine who also graduated that same spring. And we met up in London, and together for 2 months, we just crisscrossed Western Europe. Had a great old time. It's one of the best things I've done in my life, and learned a lot. Travel is an extension of education, in my belief. And I still have that travel bug. I still continue to travel. So when I finished my travels, I came back, started looking for work. Didn't see anything that I was interested in or that interested me. So one of my friends said, "Hey, my friend is a recruiter at the Oakland Police Department. So go down and talk to him." I said, "Well, I've got the time, so I'll go down and check it out and listen to what they had to say." And it sounded very intriguing, police work. It never entered my mind that that's an area that I'd want to go into. But not only would it have challenges, but I would learn a lot, get some great training. And if I didn't like it, of course, I could always leave. So I joined the Oakland Police Department and spent 6 years on the street as a police officer. And, went through all the training, went through continuous training. They actually have training on an annual basis, continuing training. And then I moved over to the district attorney's office in Oakland and worked with many famous lawyers and prosecutors, and spent 10 years there. Now, during this time, I'd volunteered for a couple of nonprofits, and I was on a few boards, ended up gravitating to nonprofit work. So I left after 16 years of law enforcement, not because I didn't like it. I enjoyed it. I was lucky to have really enjoyed all my working career positions, including police work. And I started volunteering in the alumni office at USF because there was only 2 people there. Now we have 55 people, right? We've combined our alumni relations with the development people, fundraisers, and now we have 55 people and still growing. Been through 3 capital campaigns, been through 3 presidents, I guess. Father Fitzgerald, Father Prevet, Father Schlegel. Altogether, I've got 30 some odd years at USF. The last 16, they actually paid me. So I've been on paid staff the last 16 years, which is, they didn't have to because I worked there for free for the first several years. And, but anyway, what a bonus. I get a paycheck. So I've decided that while I still have my health, I am going to continue my travels, and along with my wife, who is also an avid traveler. And we've been all over the world, and we have a whole bunch of other places on our bucket list that we want to visit. So we're going to do it while we're still healthy and able to.
You know, you are a big traveler, which is amazing. Give me 2 places that you really have enjoyed traveling.
Well, I can give you a heck of a lot more than 2, but
I know you can. That's why I just want you, I'm making it hard for you.
all right. I've been to Africa twice on 2 different safaris, about 5 years apart, but I've been to Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Botswana. We love animals, and so it was enjoyable to see wildlife without bars and cages and things like that. So that, I would say, Africa was one of my favorites. Also, gosh, it's tough. Machu Picchu in Peru. We climbed Machu Picchu, and that's got to be right up there at the top. And I'll sneak in a few more. Egypt was cool. Been to Asia, parts of Asia. Japan was really nice. Again, our thought is that every time we travel, we extend our education, and we learn a lot from the people and the sites that we encounter. I recommend it to everybody. I recommend it to the students I run into. Take a semester away, go someplace else other than your own backyard. Learn a lot.
And Kevin, talk about your family.
Well, I only have one sibling, a sister that's younger. She's retired. And I told you mom and dad are gone, but I have a son who is a diplomat. He's in his 23rd year in the State Department. So he is currently posted in Rome, Italy. And so he's a senior diplomat in the embassy there in Rome. His wife, who is a lawyer, is not really a foreign service officer, but wherever our son goes, Ryan goes, of course she goes too, and they find work for her because she's very qualified being a lawyer. And so she works in the embassy as well. Now they have a 6-year-old who's our grandson, and so he's in international school in Rome, and they're there for 3 years, and then it'll be off to another posting. But they've had some interesting posts. My wife and I travel to wherever they are just to visit and to see what is in the surrounding areas. So it's an opportunity again for us to travel to interesting places. The only places we did not visit them was Afghanistan. Yeah, that's the only place we didn't go to. But we went to Bosnia. That was a war zone.
Interesting. Hey, talk about how did you and your wife meet?
We met on a blind date through my roommate, who was a federal prosecutor. And anyway, he set us up, and it didn't take very long to know that we were supposed to be together. So 34 years later, here we are. 35 years later, 34 years later, here we are, still at it.
Amazing. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for being on. I congratulate you on your retirement. You've had a great career. Everybody loves you and respects you. So I'm looking forward to the reception tomorrow, spending some time with him.
Of course.
I've always appreciated spending time with you.
Well, let me warn you, I'm not going anywhere. We're going to be in the same house. We're going to be still going to the same events on campus. We're still going to go to basketball games and other sporting events on the hilltop. And every chance we get, we're going to continue to promote and advance the university. And anytime anybody needs anything, I'm available. I just won't get up early for you. I won't have to commute.
Awesome. Give it thanks.
Thank you, Bill.